Good morning. Joining me now is author Tim Cork. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
This is your book, Tapping the Iceberg, a national bestseller. Congratulations as well. You're part of the Canadian Networking Gurus, the title, which is a pretty big one, talking about business card etiquette, which I think is so important. It's something that a lot of people maybe don't put as much thought into as they should. Yeah. Does it really make a great first impression, or can it ruin things when it comes to a business first impression?
Well, I think it's very important because first impressions are so important. I have the opportunity to speak to thousands of people on an annual basis, entrepreneurs, business people, and it's really important to create that first impression. Some people will say you don't get a second impression, and certainly I don't totally believe that. I think as Canadians we're pretty polite. Sometimes you give people a second chance, but you really, first impressions are instantaneous, and it's the likability factor, and certainly business cards are key for that first impression. So how you come across, how you present yourself, what your card actually looks like.
Is it a good or a bad idea to take the whole creative content into your own hands?
Well, here's my thought on that. First of all is, why would you want to do it by yourself if you can get a bunch of experts in your corner? Okay. So Postnet is a perfect example. So they're experts on business cards. So why not go in and talk to an expert and say, hey, what do you think? Image, and this is key. This is your brand. You are your brand. So you got to make sure that first impression, it's critical, and certainly your business card does that.
You brought some examples. This one's got a whole bunch of writing on it. Let's take a look at this one. Why did you bring this today?
Well, I think it's very important when you have business cards. One of the things that I always talk about is that if you have a business card, it's great to have color and it's great to have pictures and that sort of thing, but I always think it's good to have some area in the business card where you can write. So when you meet with somebody for the first time, you want to make sure if they say, I have 2 kids, I love cats, I love dogs, that you get that down. Yeah, what's important to them? Everything, I mean, life is, it's not about us, it's about what's important to them.
Now there's Braille cards as well, too.
Yeah, I mean, Braille, because of diversity, and some of the large banks do this, is depending on what customers you're dealing with and what people you're dealing with, you need to have different types of cards. So sometimes you may have 2 or 3 different business cards. Certainly Braille's a great idea. I mean, if you're dealing with the blind, you want to have a Braille business card.
You brought some examples here of before and after, which is always very helpful for people to see what are the cues, the visual cues we need to be hitting when handing and creating that business card. So what is the difference with the before and afters here? Okay,
well, first of all, before is, you know, it's okay. It's a good business card, and I guess you want to go sort of to a great business card.
But you're thinking it's kind of too cluttered, too much solid color?
Yeah, I mean, quickly, visual is so important, and it's you know, makes a big difference on first impressions. This is clean. It's much easier. It's much sort of copacetic. It's much easier on the eye. So again.
And with the white backdrop, you really see the name pop up, which is key.
Exactly.
So you remember whose card it is. Yeah, it's much cleaner looking.
Yeah, from a branding perspective, it is a lot cleaner.
It's amazing how such subtle cues can make such a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Up next, here's another before and after with some useful tips.
Yeah, I mean, the power there is that before that's pretty plain. When you look at the second one, the after shot there, you actually know right away what they do. So again, power, visual, first impression.
An image can help trigger that cue as to what that company does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you do in terms of asking for a card? Or is there a proper etiquette in when you should ask? Some people say you should do this out of respect and just, you know, put it in your pocket or your purse. Other people say you should quickly glance to show you're acknowledging the card and then put it away in your wallet or whatever. What's the rule of thumb?
Well, I think, you know, from a networking perspective, it's good to look at somebody, acknowledge somebody's card. Polite, always polite etiquette. So acknowledge the card, and again, if they say some key things, I like to jot some notes down on the card. Now, if the card is color on both sides, it's good maybe to have a little notebook or something like that where you can take a few notes. You don't have to do it right then, but do it where you still can remember what's important to them.
Really good tips, Tim. And I guess in the day of Blackberries now, it's still good to have one of these, the substantial, tangible hard card, to have that hard copy, right?
Absolutely. You want to, yeah. Then
so
roll
if your Blackberry fails, you're still good to go. Thank you so much. Pick up Tapping the Iceberg, everybody, by going to timcork.com. Go to nextcareer.com for more information on Tim, and postnet.ca for business card design. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And this is your card right here. Do you mind if I take one of these for future reference?
Please do.
Thank you, Tim Cork. Over to Kevin in the newsroom.